Ducks fans, are you ready? You are listening to the Ducks and Pucks podcast. This is the #1 home for Anaheim Ducks talk and analysis. Here we go.
Welcome to the show. This is your host, Mike Walters, along with my co-host, Eddie Richard, and we hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. We're coming out of that holiday break and hope you had fun with your friends and your family. We're going to get you all caught up on these Ducks games, some moves that have happened, some more coaches that got fired. No, not Randy Carlisle. I'm sorry. He's not, been booted yet. Hopefully. But anyways, he's still with the Ducks, unfortunately. But anyways, we're going to get through all that stuff and get you going. And before we get going, Eddie, you know what? We've ruffled some feathers lately. I guess apparently the last couple shows, I've been pretty animated, and so have you, and people are liking it. So what do you think? We've been a little cray-cray on some of these shows, I guess some of the fans have been telling me.
Yeah, I lost the script. I stopped kind of like, I guess, I don't know, doing a script, and just been doing saying whatever's on my mind, no filter, like back when I was in the Army. I mean, if I talked how I did in the Army, Mike, you would kick me off this show so fast and tell me, like, you know what, you'd block me from everything. So I'm still filtered, but I'm kind of unfiltered, if that makes sense. But I mean, we just want to bring you a different show, and we just want to we're fans of the Ducks, and we want to just talk to you as other fans and just be real. And that's what the show's about. And I love all the compliments, the tweets, the texts, the DMs. Like, thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. I'm really thankful for that. I know you guys have 1,000 different shows to listen to or whatever, but I'm glad you guys listen to us. And we just want to just be real and talk to you as fans to fans about, the Ducks that we love.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what some of the people have been telling me the last couple of weeks, that they love the show. The fact that, we talk about what's going on and we don't water it down or whatnot. I don't work for the Ducks. You don't work for the Ducks. So when we talk about getting rid of Carlisle, well, that's what we said should happen. Nobody has a filter on us, as you talked about, Eddie. So we'll get going with the show this week. We've got 4 games to cover from where we left off last time. The Ducks had a couple games left on their homestand. They played Colorado, Vancouver, Edmonton, and then they started the road trip against Nashville. So we're going to talk about those games, some fan questions as usual, and of course league news, and just some holiday stuff as well. So this last week, the Ducks, they're at home. They took on Colorado. And, you thought in this game that the Ducks actually had a chance. They scored first, Brandon Montour in the first period. Colorado scored back, but then the Getzlaf and Kasse getting his first goal. The Ducks had built a 3-1 lead. And you thought everything looked good until, Colorado got a late goal in the second period, another goal in the third, forced overtime. Even in the overtime, you thought they were going to go to a shootout. The Ducks get called for a late penalty, and of course, Colorado scores in the final, 1.7 seconds of the overtime, and they win. Kind of a heartbreak for the Ducks. Eddie, I know you also like Colorado. That's your second favorite team. But this game, I actually thought the Ducks played pretty good. I mean, it looked like, even with that late goal in the second period that gave Colorado some momentum, I thought the Ducks were going to pull this one out, but they just couldn't get it done. I think that both teams fought hard, and they should have at least gone to a shootout. But Colorado was the one that beat the Ducks. And, the Ducks had been undefeated when they had a lead going into the third period. So this is the first time that they lost. Obviously not losing in regulation, but they still lost in overtime, Eddie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, this game, I was not mad. I mean, yeah, I love the Colorado Avalanche too, but Ducks are my #1 team. So when they play, and it's not like, an important game, I'm definitely going to cheer 110% for the Ducks. It just, it would piss me off too. The Avalanche started their backup goalie Grubauer against the Ducks.
Seen this before.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I'm not that mad. I mean, the Avalanche have McKinnon. It's one of actually not one of, he is the best player right now in the National Hockey League. And they have Rantanen. He leads the league in points. They have one of the best. They have the best line in hockey right now, and they're just destroying teams. And the Ducks figure out a way to control that and mitigate the damage. And just losing, by one goal to this team was amazing. I mean, it was just, yeah, their defense for the Avalanche isn't that great. It's kind of okay, and the Ducks could have pressured more and probably could have got a little bit more pucks past Grubauer because I'm not so sold on him yet. I mean, yeah, he was a great backup in over there in Washington, and now he's undermining Varlamov over there in Colorado. But, I mean, overall, I think the Ducks played a physical, a great passing game. I mean, they could have been a little more physical, but I think this was a really good game. And I was thinking too, Mike, like, holy shit, if these two teams go in the playoffs together, I don't know how matchup, I'm going to be torn because, yeah, I love the Ducks 100%, and I'm going to go for the Ducks. I'll wear my Ducks jersey like 110%. But, I mean, I don't want to see the Avalanche lose either. So it's going to be kind of one of those, like, bittersweet moments for me, I guess. But I think the Ducks played well, and they shut down the line that should have shut down, and they controlled the game most of the time. Unfortunately, I mean, Colorado's line proved to be more dominant, and I mean, they took the loss, but I think this was one of the better games that Anaheim played, and I've seen in a while. And yes, I still feel fire Carlisle, but I mean, this is a good game for them.
Yeah, and the Ducks after that game, like we said, the overtime, Colorado winning 4-3. They picked up a point, and then they moved ahead. They went against the Canucks, and kind of a crazy night. It was kind of like the Teemu night. Teemu was all over the place. He was drinking on the bar and toasting people and answering fan questions and doing the things that Teemu does. So that part was pretty good in the game, and obviously the Ducks won this game too. So, this was a flip script, I guess. They lost 3-4 to Colorado, and then they won this game against Vancouver 4-3. They started out pretty good. Getzlaf got him on the board. Vancouver answered back, and then Kasse getting his second goal. So he's starting, now that he's been back, starting to get some momentum here. And Adam Henrique got a goal. And, the Ducks, they looked pretty good. I mean, in the beginning of the third period, they built, a 3-1 lead. Then it was 3-2. Kosala got his first NHL goal, and then they were up 4-2 halfway through the period. And then Vancouver really put on the pressure. They put on the pressure the last 10 minutes. They got a power play, and they scored with a little less than 5 minutes to go. And they really pushed it, and they tried desperately to tie the game. And I thought they had a good chance in there. I thought the Ducks played good probably until like the last 10 minutes of this game. I thought, they kind of were a little bit too much in their shell, so to speak, in the last 10 minutes. But a good game. Gibson came back. He was done with his flu nonsense. Boyle went back down to San Diego. And I thought they looked pretty good. Like I said, they probably played about 50 minutes solid hockey, and the last 10 was kind of iffy. But they did have a lead, going into the third period, and they won. So they're now 6-0-1 at this point when leading after 2 periods of play. So I thought it was good. And the Ducks winning this game was kind of crazy, Eddie, because at this point in time, they leapfrogged Vancouver and actually went into third place and into a playoff spot. I know it's super, super early. And we're going to get to that. We had a poll question about the playoffs and whatnot, even though it's early, and you'll understand it in a minute. But overall, I thought this game was pretty good. I thought the Ducks could have put them away in the beginning of the third, and Vancouver kind of hung around and kept fighting back. But it was good to see the Ducks, hang on and get that 1-goal win, Eddie.
Oh yeah, same here. I was just I was really ecstatic. I didn't watch the game live. I had to watch it like the day after, because I was playing my my second playoff game as a goalie, and I got my first win as a goalie 4-2. It should have been 4-1, but I screwed up and let some mediocre goal go by. Like, man, shouldn't have. I know, how dare me. I feel like Robert Leonard from New York Islanders lets everything go by him, and I say that because I had him on fantasy, and he broke my heart. I had to drop him. So yeah, it was, and I want to give a shout out to, again, I posted on Twitter, but Mike, you and all the other fans that offered me free tickets, knowing that I like the Avs too. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I shouldn't have played when I played hockey because I was sick. But I mean, it is what it is, and I just appreciate the whole gesture of it. And you guys, accept that I have a second favorite team, and you guys care about that. But I'm happy. I'm happy that the Ducks came out, and they actually came out and played hard, and they played that way that I want to see the Ducks play. It was cool. I mean, yeah, I like the app too, but I was really hoping that the Ducks would just pull this out. But a 4-3 win. Oh man, it's not too bad.
Yeah, and the Ducks after that game, like we said, the overtime, Colorado winning 4-3. They picked up a point, and then they moved ahead. They went against the Canucks, and kind of a crazy night. It was kind of like the Teemu night. Teemu was all over the place. He was drinking on the bar and toasting people and answering fan questions and doing the things that Teemu does. So. That part was pretty good in the game, and obviously the Ducks won this game too. So this was a flip script, I guess. They lost 3-4 to Colorado, and then they won this game against Vancouver 4-3. They started out pretty good. Getzlaf got him on the board. Vancouver answered back, and then Kasse getting his second goal. So he's starting. Now that he's been back, starting to get some momentum here. And Adam Henrique got a goal. And, the Ducks, they looked pretty good. I mean, in the beginning of the third period, they built, a 3-1 lead. Then it was 3-2. Kosala got his first NHL goal, and then they were up 4-2 halfway through the period. And then Vancouver really put on the pressure. They put on the pressure the last 10 minutes. They got a power play, and they scored with, a little less than 5 minutes to go. And they really pushed it, and they tried desperately to tie the game. And I thought they had a good chance in there. I thought the Ducks played good probably until like the last 10 minutes of this game. I thought, they kind of were a little bit too much in their shell, so to speak, in the last 10 minutes. But a good game. Gibson came back. He was done with his flu nonsense. Boyle went back down to San Diego. And I thought they looked pretty good. Like I said, they probably played about 50 minutes solid hockey, and the last 10 was kind of iffy. But they did have a lead, going into the third period, and they won. So they're now 6-0-1 at this point when leading after 2 periods of play. So I thought it was good. And the Ducks winning this game was kind of crazy, Eddie, because at this point in time, they leapfrogged Vancouver and actually went into third place and into a playoff spot. I know it's super, super early. And we're going to get to that. We had a poll question about the playoffs and whatnot, even though it's early, and you'll understand it in a minute. But overall, I thought this game was pretty good. I thought the Ducks could have put them away in the beginning of the third, and Vancouver kind of hung around and kept fighting back. But it was good to see the Ducks, hang on and get that 1-goal win, Eddie.
Oh yeah, it was a great game. It was nerve wracking. I mean, man, we started off good. Getzlaf, opened it up. It was just like awesome. Like yeah. And thank you too, Mike. I know you offered me tickets to this game too as well, and I was still sick and battling the flu symptoms. It sucks. My first time getting sick in November, I think. I last recall, but it was a really good game. The Ducks came out. They came out firing. They wanted to win. I just didn't like how they got that lead and just kind of hung back, and they got complacent. I think that's the best word I can describe from that. You should have just, I don't know. You have to play a hockey 110%. You can't just hold back. You have a lead, 1-goal lead, 2-goal lead. I mean, Coste scored. Everyone's happy. Henrique scored again. I mean, it was like a 3-1 Ducks at one point, and then all of a sudden, you guys just kind of like hold back, and Vancouver, comes back. I mean, Vancouver is not that deep of a team. Yeah, they're playing well this season, but I mean, they're going to tank. They don't have that firepower. And the team we had, we should easily beat them 5-0. I mean, hopefully we just learn from that. And I mean, like I said, that dump and chase too, it's predictable. I've seen that in that game. I didn't like that. It just, when the Ducks, when Vancouver scored, the Ducks resorted right back to that dump and chase thing. It's just, it's not good. And I mean, I hope we can just like shy away from that and do something different. But overall, I mean, we got the win. It was cool. I was sick. I stood up. I fought the whole NyQuil. NyQuil is actually strong too when you're sick. So I mean, I suggest that. I'm not advertising for them, but I suggest that when if you're sick. But I was like fighting my sleep away just to actually watch this game, and I'm glad the Ducks got a win. And I had a dream about the Ducks that night too, so that was pretty cool.
Hey, so for any of you out there, take NyQuil before you go to bed, and you will have dreams about the Ducks. It's simple. That's it. I'm advertising for NyQuil, okay?
Timu put a smile on my face. I seen videos. People, Christine was one of them. Her and her husband. I always run into them. So, great people. I love them to death. Like I just want to hug them every time I see them. They posted a video of Timu jumping on the bar and making a speech, a toast. Oh my God, Mike! If I jumped on the bar as drunk as Timu was, guess what? I'd be in Anaheim PD right now, arrested.
You'd be arrested. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if you'd bail me out. If I say use my DucksNPucks like get out of jail free card if that actually exists. But you know what? It was cool to see Timu being Timu and being one of the fans and just interacting with fans. Like Timu is one of the. I want to say he's the best athlete in the world. Like he's just always awesome. I had the honor of having I went to his restaurant, had dinner with them. And I asked him if he had a minute so I can, just pick his brain. He came to my table and we were sharing drinks together. And he'd sit there for about 30 minutes and just talking to me. At that time, I messed up my leg blocking a shot. So I had a little a brace on my knee. He asked me, he was like, "Are you a goalie?" I was like, "Yeah, sort of, but not that game." He goes, "So you weren't playing goalie that game?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "What the beep?" That's the F word if you guys. I'm going to beep it out myself. He goes, "What the beep are you doing blocking pucks?" I was like, "I don't know. I didn't want, my goalie to get scored on." He goes, "You're not an effing goalie at that game. Don't block effing pucks." I'm like, "Oh my God, Timu just told me a story. It's awesome." And then I offered to buy him a drink. The funny thing, he was like, "Yeah, you can buy me a drink, but I kind of own this place. So, I mean, it's not going to matter." I mean, Timu was awesome. Like, I spent more money than ever in my life at that restaurant, but it was worth it just to actually hang out with Timu and pick his brain and actually just shoot the shit with him. It was really cool. And then seeing him, all those videos, oh my, I wish I wasn't sick, or I wish I would just suck it up, Mike, and took the tickets that you offered me and just went to that game and just coughed all over everyone, whatever. But it was just cool seeing Timu just interacting. He's such a people's player. And I'm going to say this, and you guys can debate me on this, but I think Timu is the best professional athlete in this whole universe, maybe even the world. Like it's just, I mean, you can go to outer space and see the aliens, and they have their little teams. I bet there's a Timu over there, and he's not as great as our Timu.
I agree 100%. You went on a Timu tangent there for a little bit, I guess, Eddie, and I wouldn't disagree with you at all. All the times I run into him, he's like the super, nicest guy, always cracks jokes, is funny. I ran to him at his restaurant too, and I had a couple of his hockey cards, and I just asked him if he could autograph them, and just autograph them. He's like, "Yeah, give me the cards," no big deal. Like he's just super laid back, super friendly and outgoing, and he's just a really good people person. So
yeah, he treats you with respect, and he just acts like you're his best friend. It's like, dude, you're Timu Slani, the rookie that a rookie record that no one's ever going to touch in their life. And you're just nonchalant, "Oh yeah, cool, whatever. I'm just Timu." He just treats you with dignity and respect, and I really love that about him. It's cool. I went fangirl moment for a little bit, my little tangent.
No, Timu.
I mean, it's Timu.
Yeah, Timu tangent.
Oh yeah, let me rewind a little bit. I went to this game, and I wasn't supposed to because I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, whatever. I can't make this game. I'm tired. I don't feel good. I'm getting over the flu. We had painters coming over. So I told my roommate, I was like, you know what? They're going to paint the house. I'll go to the game. So my roommate, fashionably late as always, Elvis, at On the Volley. He owns a soccer brand, but he's always late. So I'm pissed off because I'm running late. He actually buys tickets. He's like, "Oh yeah, we got a club level." I'm like, all right, cool. $60 each. Cool. We get there. There's people in our club level seats, Mike. And I'm like, oh, okay, these people need to get off because I want to sit in my club level seat and watch the game. It turns out that someone actually sold the suite tickets for $60. I guess their lowest price was $60 each. So we got to sit in a suite, which is freaking awesome. My first, oh yeah, it was sweet. A sweet was sweet. That makes sense. My first time at Honda Center in a suite, it was cool. It was awesome. 310B, thank you so much, whoever owns that. If you listen to the show, please DM me. I would love to give you a shout out. You and your company, I mean, you guys were awesome and friendly. That game was nerve wracking and it was just amazing. They pulled the goalie 45 seconds without a goalie, and Richie scores. Like, oh yes, first goal of the season, he scores. They tie it up, and then Raquel gets that breakaway. And my roommate called it, Elvis. He's like, "Oh, it's over!" Like right when Raquel touched the puck, and then all of a sudden he scores on the second attempt. Oh my god, that goal was amazing. It just, I lost my mind. Like the little voice I had left, I just let it go. Like it was just crazy. And then to talk about that one goal that was like called off or whatever, it wasn't called off. Yeah, it was controversial, and I know like myself and a lot of Anaheim Ducks fans were pissed off about that. But I didn't see white paint, on that goal. That puck didn't cross the line. Like seeing the video, yeah, I wish it would, but it didn't. But I'm glad it didn't, because what we got, the finish, it was just perfect. Black Friday win, it was awesome. Like, man, I couldn't even think of a better ending. Is just, I'm sick. I shouldn't have went to the game. I want just to just be lazy and stay home and eat soup. I went to the game. I got a suite. I got to watch Richie's first goal.
Right.
And I got to actually watch a sweet Raquel goal from a suite.
Yes.
Perfect game, dude. Perfect game.
Well, it was perfect except for the Edmonton fans who, after that game, Eddie, were crying because they felt like Rickard Raquel had interfered with the goalie, which I think they were probably, I don't know if they were smoking crack or maybe the weed's good in Edmonton. I don't really know what's going on with those guys. But if you watch that play, no, there was no goalie interference.
Mike,
can go pound sand.
I think Edmonton fans would call interference if someone scored a goal on an empty net on them.
They probably would.
I don't know what's going on in Edmonton.
I don't know either. I don't know if those guys understand hockey. Like, you could see Raquel's going towards the net. He actually loses the puck for a second, and it hits the goalie pad. He regains it and then puts it 5-hole. If you look, the goalie's already doing the splits. They're saying that he pushed the goalie into the net and all this stuff. Nah. Sorry, I'm not buying that at all. You just look at the replay. He lost the puck. The goalie's already doing the splits and put his leg against the post there. So I don't know I don't know what they're talking about. They're still sore about some guy named Ryan Kessler. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it was a good game. They came back and won. The Ducks showed up in the final minute of the game. Richie got his first goal of the season. Raquel got his 100th regular season goal. And again, the Ducks go to overtime or shootout, as we talked about, the 9th time this season at home. So the Ducks are able to pull it out. They had a 2-game winning streak. And I think the funny thing about this actually was we posted this, was the Edmonton media after this, during the game, but they were talking about the Ducks injuries. And we posted this graphic that we pulled off their TV. They had the list. So they had Max Comtois, lower body, Patrick Eves with his back, Fowler with his face cheek injury, Holzer with his wrist, Lindholm with the lower body, Perry with his knee, Roney and Roy, with the upper body. So I mean, they had all these stuff on there, and you're looking at all these injuries, and then they put Don Wright on there. I mean, it was freaking hilarious. So we posted that up there. And it just went off on social media. So it's pretty hilarious, Eddie, to see them, they listed these 8 Ducks players and then they put Dawn Wright on there. I just thought that was pretty comedy to see them put her on that list with all the other players. Oh, yeah.
It was funny. It's awesome. It's really cool that they actually acknowledge her as part of the Ducks team, too, because Dawn Wright, I mean, to me, she's synonymous with hockey. Like, her voice is missed. And no disrespect to the new anthem singer, I mean, at all, but I miss Dawn Wright. I just, her voice makes me tear up, like just singing the national anthem. And I wish her, the best, and hopefully she recovers soon and she can come back. It was just really hilarious that they actually added that. It's cool too. Like she's part of the team, so they added that. What I didn't like was people taking your photo from Ducks and Pucks and tweeting it as their own. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, it's a simple retweet on Twitter. It's really easy to do. Just go ahead and hit that retweet button. It's little like two arrows that are like kind of like chasing each other. It's not hard. It's so cool. You guys can just retweet it, and you can add a comment to it too. Like it's called a retweet or sub retweet, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was funny. It wasn't disrespectful at all. It just gave her the recognition to be part of the Ducks team. It was cool. And Don Wright, if you're listening, I wish you a speedy recovery. I miss your voice. I wish I could sing like you. And I sing the words aloud with you when you're on there. And I really hope to see you this season.
Yeah, and she did see the post as well. So, she thought it was hilarious as everybody else thought it was too. So hopefully her voice and the issues, get corrected soon and we get her back. Like we said, we all miss her and wish her the best in recovery with her vocal cords. So I just thought it was funny. They added that on there, and it was just a pretty hilarious day and week so far. Temu on Wednesday, and then you had all this stuff on Black Friday, and everything looked good. And then, of course, the Ducks, they're starting a road trip, and they go play Nashville. And out of all the games this week, this was really the worst game. I mean, the Ducks, they went in there, and they just had a hard time in this game, Eddie. I thought they played okay in the beginning. They were getting shots on goal and whatnot in the beginning of this contest, but after the first period, they really couldn't get a lot of offense going. They ended up losing this one 5-2. The Watson hat trick, the guy that beat down the Ducks and also beat down his ex-girlfriend allegedly, even though she's denying it and saying she's an alcoholic or whatever. But anyways, the Ducks only got 19 shots in this game. They did get a power play goal, but they gave up a couple power play goals. But kind of disappointing. The Ducks had played a lot better, I thought, in the first contest against Nashville earlier in this season. And this game, they just, to me, after the first period, they just didn't really play as well. I thought, they were all right. Especially getting that early goal too in the second period. I thought they had a chance, but it just kind of seemed, early second period on, they just didn't have it, Eddie, against Nashville, and it's unfortunate. So the Ducks dropped this one 5-2.
Did I see the Ducks play today? I mean, they showed up, but I didn't see them play. I don't know what the hell the Ducks were doing. And I say this again, and I think it's deja vu, and I'm reiterating whatever I said last time when we played Nashville. This is a team that you guys don't like. This is a team that kicked your ass out of the playoffs
3 times.
And you want to sit there and fluff them and sit there and tickle them? Like, what the hell? Hit Nashville on their ass. Get them going. I saw Raquel skating hard. I saw Silverberg too as well, skating hard. And stop at the moment of truth. Hit the beep out of them. And I'm trying not to cuss. I trust me. I want to say so many explicit words right now. I want to use the F word in different variations that I can, and like verbs and whatever. But what I saw, it was just nothing. Like, you guys don't have that fight in you, and I don't know what the hell is going on. I know it's not Carlisle. Yeah, I don't like Carlisle. I want him fired. Trust me. I'm 110% want him fired. But I know he's a hard-ass coach, and he wants players to hit. So I don't know what the hell is going on this season when you guys are just not hitting anyone, and you guys are just like playing basketball. Like, oh my God, I watched LeBron James get carried off the court when he had a cramp. Like, should I just like switch to basketball, Mike? Should we do like a I don't know, a Lakers and Pucks or Lakers and Balls podcast now? And be really
oh, be careful with that one.
no, I'll say it, dude. We can be sensitive and do that. It just, I don't like what I'm seeing. No disrespect to basketball. I mean, they're athletes and.
I was talking about the balls comment. That's what I was laughing about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought that was hilarious.
I actually meant basketball, like you dribble off the court, not balls attracted to a genital area, which is known as a penis. But no, come on, guys. I don't see the fight in the Ducks, and I tell you all the time, I'm 110% optimistic about playoffs, and we're gonna win the Stanley Cup. But what I'm seeing from this team this season, I'm seeing a defeated, depleted team, and they're not willing to make sacrifices. Sacrifices meaning sacrifice your body. Yeah, you're going to hit someone. It hurts. When I'm watching my beer league teams take more hits than the Ducks do all season, it's bad. And I don't like that, Mike, at all, especially against freaking Nashville, against the Kings when we played them last time. It just, something has to change. It's something like, I don't know what we have to do. It just, I don't know. Like, I wish I can call Carlisle right now. Like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, you guys should hit more. And you're like, oh, I don't know, Eddie. Maybe because the league's changing. No, it's not changing. League's not changing. It's you're making it change. Hockey's a hard-hitting game. The integrity of sport is a hard-hitting, fighting game, and it should be played like that 110% every single game. And what I'm seeing from the Ducks right now, I mean, I think Dallas Stars lead the league in hits. I mean, half their players have, like, a lot of hits. Come on, guys. You guys got to step up. Once I told you numerous times, you hit more, you stop creating chances for the team, and you force them to give up bad plays. And guess what? Dun, 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 you get an opportunity. Come on, Ducks, wake up.
No, I mean, we've talked about that all season long, about the physical play. We harped on that on some of the other podcast shows, and you're right. I mean, if you're going to really put the other team on their heels, I mean, you've got to make them think that when they touch the puck that they're going to get hit or they're going to get checked or there's going to be a stick somewhere in their area. And that's, been kind of a problem throughout the season. We've seen them play a little bit better in some games, but still that physical play is kind of, it's not really been there. We did see a little scrap in that game against Nashville. You called it the Black Friday shopping, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh yeah, but Mike, I mean, you have Watson, a guy.
Is he a guy? Is he a guy?
You know what?
I don't know what you want to call that guy.
I don't give a shit if you guys call me out, if you guys get pissed off with the hell I'm saying. But if you put your hands on a woman like that, I mean, you're a piece of shit. Period. So if you guys want to follow this show and don't listen, that's cool. I don't care. I mean, I don't care if she says that, it's his fault. Yeah, that battered woman syndrome. I understand. I worked in law enforcement as well. It's just, dude, you effed up and you got your suspension reduced. Like, you couldn't even take your punishment as a man after putting your hands on a woman.
Well, and the Nashville organization's letting him play. At least the Kings, you can hate the Kings as much as you want, but at least they booted Voynov.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in Nashville. I lost a lot. I mean, I didn't have a lot of respect for them to begin with, but I lost more respect. I don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me.
I'm going to go a little personal right now. Like, I grew up in a home where I watched my dad beat the shit out of my mom. It sucked. Hence, they got divorced. But I watched that environment, and it sucked, and it scarred me for life. Like, I still think of that, and it's not cool at all. I mean, if you have problems, leave. But he didn't. He did what he did, and then the Ducks just let him get a hat trick. Walk him back to the NHL. You're like third or fourth game back, whatever. You can just, someone should have went over there after his second goal and beat the crap out of him. So I guarantee he probably would have tried to hit the other player's wife and not the player himself. It just
it is it's disgusting, and then it sucks that he gets that hat trick and then the Ducks lose this game. And like you said, the Ducks didn't come out and they didn't play as physical, and plus they gave up a couple goals shorthanded as well. So the Ducks, I don't know. Nashville, it's always been tough, especially in the playoffs. So hopefully they won't meet them in the playoffs. But, we did talk about the playoffs a little bit. And I know it's early, but I did a poll question. Kind of want to see what people thought. If people, changed their minds in this last week, maybe they were a little bit more thankful that the Ducks were in a playoff spot and that they wanted to keep Carlisle. Well, that wasn't true. So we did a Facebook poll. And it was almost 2-1 still. You guys out there feel that Carlisle should be gone, even though the Ducks are, currently in a playoff spot. So that's the situation. And it's kind of interesting too, Eddie, because we had some more coaches get booted. Mike Yeo was taken out from the Blues and Todd McClellan out of Edmonton. So even with those guys gone, Carlisle is still here. And, according to our poll, most of you still think he should be gone, even despite all the injuries and whatnot. So that's saying something too. With the way things are going, the team, they went 2-2 in these last few games that we've been talking about, but it's still an interesting situation. All the injuries and whatnot, and most people still don't have faith in Carlisle. And I think part of it you talked about is the lack of physical play.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with him. Like, I know he's a hard-nosed physical coach, and supposedly he changed his style of coaching this season. I mean, he's still doing the same old predictable dump and chase, and he's predictable. The only thing he changed that I see is he's, I don't know, telling his players not to hit. I mean, I remember back in the day when the Ducks first started, there was a big rumor going around that Disney paid the Ducks not to hit and be more like gentleman-like. I mean, this isn't slap shot too. I don't see a Baldwin brother playing in the game. I mean, we're not playing against the Icebreakers or whatever the hell they're called. We're playing a professional game, a hard-hitting hockey game that should be played a 60-minute game plus. You should just run and gun it. I mean, yeah, you're hurt, deal with it. I mean, if you're injured, it's different, but if you're hurt, deal with it. You should be putting your body on someone else when they have the puck as much as you can without injuring someone, of course. And I'm not seeing this from this Ducks team. This is a different Ducks team, and I don't like what I'm seeing. And I think we'll discuss this later, but Comtois getting sent down too, that just... I don't know. I think it's not the Ducks' problem. I think it's the management and the coach. And I'm going for the coach and the management as well. Like, I think something has to change. And I think the biggest problems in our team right now, Mike, and I don't know if you agree or not, or Carlisle, of course, I want him gone when he first got hired, but I'm thinking our GM should. I think he's not the right guy for the job, and I think it's time for him to go too as well.
Well, and I think, like you said, another thing that angered people was the Max Comtois situation. JT Lamb on Facebook asked about that, and also asked if Kevin Waugh was going to return. And, also, what are, I guess, who is the biggest disappointment this far of the season? I mean, I think he's talking about a player. Obviously, we mentioned Murray and Carlisle, so we'll kind of dive into that. But I think the Comtois thing, it's complicated. And I have mixed feelings about it. And we'll go over it, and I'll at least explain this as best I can because there's a lot of different things going on. So, as you all know, he played in the 10 games in the NHL, so he burned 1 year of his entry-level contract. That's like old news. You all know that, whatever. So that happened. Of course, he got hurt in that game against Chicago. And what the Ducks ended up doing is when they got him in a situation where they felt he could play and he was better, even though he was on the IR, they put him on a conditioning loan in San Diego for 2 weeks. So the way that works, because there was some confusion, is he's a Canadian junior player. And if you're under the age of 20, you cannot play in the AHL. You have to be in the NHL or the juniors. So some people were like, okay, he went to the AHL on the conditioning loan, which is kind of a loophole or an exception. Once that was over, the Ducks had to make a decision what they wanted to do. So from that point, I know a lot of you out there going, well, why didn't they bring him to the NHL? He had a couple goals, he had a bunch of assists, he had point streaks going, and he was doing well. Okay, so now there's a few other parts to this, and I'm not saying that they should have brought him up or not because of this, but these are just things to consider. So there's the 10-game rule, as we mentioned already. There's also the 40-game rule. So if he had gotten to 40 games this season, then 1 year of his RFA status would have been burned, which means he would have become an unrestricted free agent 1 year sooner. So there's part of that caveat. The other thing is, in the expansion draft looming, if he plays one more game with the Ducks, he'd be considered a first-year pro, which basically, if you're a first or second-year pro, you're exempt from having to be protected in the expansion draft. So if he ended up playing more games this season, then obviously he was going to most likely come up play next year. He wouldn't be able to be exempt. So then the Ducks would have to protect him. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. I still think that they could have brought him up. I mean, the expansion draft, it's a little bit far away. There's also talk of the dirty word lockout coming up soon too. So there's some of that stuff going on. So I would have been okay with him coming back up and playing. I still think the expansion draft stuff, there's things going on here. It's still a couple years away. We don't know what the situation would be, but that's what Murray's thinking. He doesn't want to have to, risk that. And then as far as the 40-game thing, I mean, you could have brought him up and he could have played another 29 games, and the Ducks are already a fourth of the way through the season. So I would have been okay with him coming back up and playing a bunch more games. But, the other issue too is you got most of the guys back. You have Richie, Casse as well back. Hopefully Eves comes back soon. And then, of course, Perry, on the horizon as well. So that's the situation. I don't necessarily agree with it. I get why, in this instance, Murray did what he did, given all these rules. And I know it's very complicated, but, it's difficult. You're trying to protect him for the expansion draft. You're not trying to, burn off his RFA status down the road. Again, these are all things that are years away, but that's what they're looking for. But, I would have been fine with him coming up and at least playing at least maybe up until that 40-game mark. But you never know. They might bring him up later in the season, Eddie. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but if more players are injured or players get traded or whatever, we could see him, maybe towards the end of the season. You just never know.
I feel whatever makes that front of the logo that you wear on your jersey better, it's all for me. Like there's players in the league like Dustin Bufflin, Lucic, I hate, but if they wore that that Ducks logo on the front, I'll support them. I'm not a big fan of Perry. I'll throw that out there. I haven't been a fan of him in a while, his antics and stuff like that. But he wears the Ducks jersey, and I support him, and I wish him well. I mean, you're setting a kid down that had 7 points in 10 games, 2 goals, 5 assists, not to mention his 27 hits. Down to junior. What the hell are you trying to get him to accomplish? Like, he's proven himself as one of the top players, or he's at least bottom 6, if not top 6 for the Ducks, and you sent him down. I'm puzzled. I have no idea what the hell Ducks management's doing. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for describing that and breaking it down, because I know a lot of us, including myself, was confused until you broke it down. But I mean, I still don't see why send someone that makes your team better. I mean, are the Ducks trying to tank on purpose for Jack Hughes? I mean, I hope the Ducks would do that. If they're going to do that, they would do what the Rangers did and let fans know, like, hey, we're going to tank on purpose so we can get a good draft pick. Like, come on, man. I mean, there's no reason there's nothing for him to gain down there. And I asked that question too on Ducks Hughes with Dan Wood and Steve Carroll. And I think Brian Murphy, they quoted him saying they don't want to bring it up too early. They don't want to bring it up too late. I'm confused, Mike. I have no idea. Like, I'm just puzzled with that, because I think he earned his spot with the Ducks, and I think he gave all his effort more than some of the veteran players, and he earned a spot, and he made our team better. And him getting sent down is kind of a slap in the face. And you're saying too late or too early, but now you're just telling a player, hey, you did this, you gave 27 hits, you had this many points, you helped us win a certain amount of games. You know what? Go back to juniors, kid. We'll try out next season. I mean, how demoralizing is that? If I were him and I were a Ducks player, I'd be like, you know what? Beep this. I'm just going to write out my contract and try to get with a team that appreciates me more. I think Ducks management failed in this part. It's bad, Mike. And I don't know if you agree or not, but.
No, I mean, I feel you too. I think there has to be some sense of frustration on Max's part. I mean, you come up and you really impress. He was the biggest surprise to some and not to some others. But I mean, he came out of the gate flying in the beginning of the season, and I think it was unfortunate that he got hurt, especially on the that 10th game mark. Just a terrible situation. So. Part of it is the rules too. He can't stay in the AHL, which is unfortunate. That's just the rules that are guided, with Canadian juniors. So the Ducks had to make a choice, and given the roster size and what they're thinking with players coming back and whatnot, that's what they went with. So I feel you though too. I think one thing is that, if they do keep him in the juniors for a little bit, bring him up later in the season, especially the Ducks are hanging around a playoff spot. But yeah, it's got to be tough for him. I mean, I liked his physical play. A lot of people were talking about him getting points and whatnot, but he was going around hitting people too. Like you said, he wasn't afraid to go at players and wasn't afraid to take hits as well. And that's something that this team needs. So, I'm disappointed to see him go down like that. And who knows what's going to happen, in the next couple of months. Silverberg still, not signed beyond this season. Perry's supposed to come back. We did see him in the locker room. I know that if you saw one of the Ducks videos, he has been around the arena. So I still don't think he's too far out. But, like you said, Perry has his antics and whatnot, and some people don't like it and some people love him for it. So I thought Comtois, of the younger guys that have been up, was one of the most complete players. I really do. I like the way that he hustled. I like the way that he scored. His passing, his physical play, the way he would go after players and whatnot. I just thought he was a really good package. And I understand why a lot of people are mad. And I think it goes back to the whole why people aren't happy with Carlisle and Murray. And I don't blame anybody out there. If you're looking at that situation, that's adding more fuel to the fire. I agree. Like I said, there's just some of these rules and some of these things that Murray's taking into account. I get why he's doing it, but hey, I mean, you could still bring him up, and maybe he doesn't get to that 40 game mark. Who knows? But the only thing I could think of is if there's a little bit more going on with his injury and they're trying to, let him play at a less competitive level because of that, maybe that's the only thing I can see. But yeah, overall, I think it's disappointing. And they have to, most likely wait until maybe the end of the season or next year to see him. So kind of a bummer that they, sent him back down. He played in 4 games with the goals and had 1 goal as well. So it would have been great to see him back up. I mean, of the young guys, like I said, he was like my new favorite guy. Everyone talks about Steele and Terry and Jones, but I like Comtois. He's just, I'm going on a Comtois tangent like you went on a Timu tangent. I just really like this kid. I just really like this kid. And there's all these rules and they already burned the first year of the entry level contract. So I'm kind of like, because you look at those other rules and like I said, who knows what's going to happen when the draft comes? Who knows when that RFA status comes up? I mean, how many years he's going to be with the team or whatnot. Some of those may be irrelevant. So if you're taking a little bit of a gamble. Yes, you are, because you're risking some of those things. But if he's someone that makes the team overall better, and maybe give him a little push until Eves and Perry come back and whatnot, I say let him go for it, But, I don't run the team. But anyways, that's where we're at with the Comtois thing. I hope I explained it. I know it's pretty confusing and whatnot. But, as far as the poll goes, a lot of you guys are still upset, and I don't blame you. A lot of fan questions basically about injuries and whatnot. There really hasn't been a lot of news lately. You guys all know how the Ducks, and not just them, but the NHL, they're really forthcoming with the news. But the only real thing they talked about was Fowler's surgery. They did say it went well. They just didn't put an exact timeline on it. No real update on Lindholm. Kevin Waugh, they haven't really said too much either. I heard he's getting close, but he's still not there. So, this team's going to keep going. I don't see Carlisle going bye-bye, unfortunately. The Ducks, we talked about it before, if they're even close to a playoff spot, not saying it's the right thing, but in Murray's mind, hey, that's better than, the way the Blues and Edmonton were doing. So I know it's frustrating, but that's where we're at with that. As far as, what's going on, I guess, in the league, Eddie, there's a lot of stuff going on we wanted to talk about too. I don't know where you wanted to start, but there was a trade that came out. You got Carolina stuff going on. What did you want to talk about as far as the rest of the league too, as we finish up the last segment of the show?
Well, as far as league news, I will leave the Hurricanes as last, so we can talk about that more. NHL league news: the ref Mike McGorry, whatever. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I apologize. 61. He passed away. He got taken off life support. You know what? I send him my extremely condolences and rest in peace. If you guys don't know who he is, if you guys watch videos on NHL, he was a referee that Curtis Joseph back in 2000 got a goal scored on him, and he contested it, and he went to go yell at him, but he slipped and tripped him as well, and they both fell together. So, I just wish him and his family, I pray and give my thoughts to them and hope they heal for that. It just, it sucks. It's sad. I mean, he's a fellow hockey player. So, yeah, on that, Buffalo Sabres, they're one of the top teams in the league. They have a winning streak going on. It's crazy. They were like last. Ryan O'Reilly is one of the top players right now. It's just crazy. You know what? I'm not mad at that though. I'm glad because Sabres had to deal with sucking for so long. So I'm glad they're actually doing well. Nylander, of course, we're going to talk about that. December 1st, if he doesn't get signed by that day, he's not going to be able to play. He has to play in the KHL or wherever he wants to play. There's so many rumors going on. I mean, he's rumored to go in outer space. I don't even know. It's just so many rumors. So I'm not even going to dive into that. Edmonton on Thanksgiving, one of the first Thanksgiving trades in a while, they get Weidman from the Senators for a 6th-round pick. The Senators owner is suing something, and I'm not going to get into that because I didn't really divulge in that yet, but they're suing. And more like infamous news from Edmonton or from Ottawa, they're suing someone for something. So we'll just leave it at that. And then I want to. Oh my God, Mike! This I told you numerous times in the show. This is the first season I'm saying, thank God I'm not an Ottawa fan. Usually it's like, thank God I'm not a Kings fan, but this is Ottawa. I'd rather be a Kings fan than be an Ottawa fan this season. I mean, I know it sucks to say. I almost threw up.
Yeah,
just saying
Ottawa's
that,
been a crazy situation.
Whatever. The Yotes made a trade. Coyotes, Nick Schmaltz. They traded Perlini and Dylan Strome. They sent 2 prospects over, like promising prospects. I know they're underachieving in Arizona, but I think they're going to thrive for the Coyotes. And then the big news that I want to talk about, and Mike, and I know you and I, Mike, talked about this earlier, and we both disagree. The Hurricanes post-game celebrations. Brian Burke quoted saying, I hate it, but Brian Burke quote said, I don't think it's professional. I don't think it belongs in the league. And he said it's pee-wee garbage stuff. And he quoted saying that if Carolina likes it,
love it.
Good, go for it. Clap. Now, Mike, I am all for having fun, and I'm for the game 110%. And you guys see my Gonzo 444 on my Twitter. Like I always say, I am hockey, but Mike, I think this hinders the game, and it just feeds the stereotype of hockey's are buffoons and goons, and it's not part of the game. And if you guys actually take a look at the videos and see the Carolina players, some of them don't look happy. They're forced to do it. I was in the Army. I was forced to do a lot of shit I didn't want to do. Like it sucked, like false motivation. And I don't think this is professional. And I think it's just I think it kind of ruins hockey. What the Carolina Hurricanes are doing. Yeah, granted, I know they're a struggling franchise and they've been through ups and downs. And I wish them the best. If they won the cup again, I mean, I wouldn't be mad about that. They need that. But I think what they're doing and making their players do, I think it's honestly it's a fallback and it's bad for hockey. I mean, I know, Mike, you think differently, so let's hear your thoughts.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I look at it and I think it's hilarious. I think it's pretty funny. Overall, the things that they're doing and running around and clapping and, basically getting crazy, which, I think it's funny. Is it the traditional thing that they do? No. It's like if you and I were there for the game where the Ducks beat, Edmonton. The Ducks went to the center ice and they raised their sticks after that game because they rallied and came back. And that's what a lot of teams will do in certain situations. So I think overall it's funny. But the one part about it that could be a pain is if certain players don't agree with it. That's something I don't really know. I haven't looked into it. But if certain players are for it and some aren't, and it's causing some kind of locker room problem, or some kind of issue where some feel like they're forced to do it. Like you said, in the military, you're forced to do things. And my career, I was forced to do things. That's just the way it is. But then it's not a good thing. If they're all participating in it and joking around and they're having a good time, that's one thing. But if it's something where some of them are like, wait, we're acting a little bit too crazy and I don't want to do this, then that's not a good thing. So, I don't know where they're at. I mean, I've seen a few clips here and there, and I think it's funny what they're doing. But it whatever they decide to do, they definitely need to do it as a team. So if there's some kind of issue going on like that where certain guys don't want to do it and they're being forced, then yeah, I mean, that's not fun. But overall, I see it. I think it's funny. The franchise is struggling. I always wonder how long they're going to be there. With the stuff going on, just like the Florida Panthers, we've seen those games too, with their, crowd attendance being down. So it's interesting how it's going to pan out. I think they're still going to keep doing it. And Burke's not running that franchise, so he probably would have told them not to do it. You know what I mean? But
well, I wish them all the best. Like I mean, it works for them, and I'm going to try to attempt to get one of their media guys and hopefully like one of their players to actually come on the show and talk. I'm going to write them and see if they can just talk about that. I have my opinion on it, and I think it's kind of overzealous. But you know what? Just like you said, I mean, they're a struggling franchise, and there's no way in hell I want to see a franchise fall and leave. It was heartbreaking seeing the Thrashers in Atlanta fold. And I mean, it's cool to, Winnipeg got a team, but I never want to see a team just fold. I just want this game to keep growing and hockey to keep growing and everywhere. Like, I mean, I was just reading an article about Mexico having their first ice team and having a solid ass, like, he might be a draft pick goalie. I'm like, what the hell, Mexico? Like, I'm Mexican too, so it's like, oh my god, like that's crazy to see. And just I love the game growing, and like I said, I never want to see a franchise fold, but I think the Hurricanes are being a little overzealous, and I really hope that we can grab someone from their media or a player, and we can just talk about that and see what their thoughts about that.
Yeah, well, they do have some guys that do a podcast that have been on our show, so I will reach out to them and see if we'll go on their show or they come on our show or whatever, and they're pretty funny. So we'll look into that as well. But yeah, I mean, going to the point of hockey, like spreading out all over the place. I mean, it's true. Like we've talked about before, we have people that listen in Australia. When I first started this several years ago, I was like, there's hockey in Australia? But no, there's people there. There's people in Mexico. There's people in Brazil, Spain, a lot of parts of Europe. Duh. I mean, we all know that Europe has a lot of it. But I mean, there's other places. I've had other countries too. China, Japan, things like that. So, I mean, hockey does go all over. So there is a big audience and whatnot. And, with the last Thanksgiving week, I'm thankful for that, because they listened to both of us. Super thankful. Thankful for all my friends and family and everybody that supports us. Thankful for you being on here, Eddie. I'm thankful for all the people that help with our articles and whatnot, all the staff, because I couldn't do it without everybody. So, and obviously I'm thankful for all of you guys out there that listen as well too. So if there's anybody you want to thank, Eddie, go for it, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Yeah, I'm thankful for everyone that has me on the show too, because I'm pretty sure if I had a negative response of me being on the show, you would ask me to just stick to articles and graphics and stuff like that, which I wouldn't mind as business. But Mike, I'm really thankful for you. You showed me a path, and when I first met you, I mean, I felt like I was lost in the world, and I felt I had no idea what the hell I was doing in life. And then I talked to you, and you and I just hit it off, and we had a lot in common. I mean, career wise before, and then what we're doing now with Ducks and Pucks and writing, and you're just. You are my inspiration, and I look up to you. Like some people want to be Superman, want to be Batman. Like I just look up to you, and I want to be Mike, dude. No weird like that. I just want to be the best I can and do the best I can for writing and talking and just pursuing my career in hockey. And I credit you 100% for that. So I'm really thankful. I mean, obviously the whole cliche of my friends and family, I'm thankful for that, but I'm really thankful for you allowing me to do this show and to write and to kind of let me be me and kind of like pave that path for me, like trailblaze that. So, I mean, that's what I'm really thankful for. And I mean, I hope everyone listening too, like, trust me, I'm thankful for every one of you guys that listen. Like, it's awesome you guys listen and all your comments and stuff. But I mean, Mike's the reason why I'm on this show, and Mike's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now and pursuing what I'm doing right now. So thank you for that.
No, and I thank you too for your friendship. We've hit it off, in the beginning, all the way, and doing all the stuff and everything. And I know you got my back as much as I got your back as well. So I thank you for that. And like I said, we thank everybody else out there as well for the show. We've been a little bit more spontaneous, a little bit more animated. I like the path that we're going. I think that's how we're going to be for, the rest of the season and into the future. So with that, we'll see how the Ducks finish up this road trip. And we'll be back in probably after that or, about a week or so. And let's go Ducks.